If your coaching business still relies on you having to be a closer on a call, then congratulations, you're the new door-to-door salesman of 2025 in this online space. When it feels like you are chasing leads, hopping on 63-minute calls in order to convince somebody to finally buy your program for a split payment, then you are not selling you and your service through content well enough. The better idea here is to stop being a closer and being a waiter, somebody that just accepts orders. You need to be positioning your services and yourself like a restaurant. So in one video, I'm going to be solving every single problem in your sales process that's going to allow you to be taking these orders. So let's hop right into it. Okay, so step one in order to be a waiter is understand what you are currently feeling right now and why it is partially incorrect. So a lot of coaches, a lot of people in the online space probably are feeling something like this, okay? Feels like they are not attracting buyers. Feels like nobody has money on the call. Feels like there's an actual trust recession. And a lot of these, at least the people I hop on the call with, they think their sales skills are A1. They think they're the LeBron of closing, with Kobe of closing, and really that's not the case. Like a lot of these are partially right and partially wrong. You need to understand the entire picture. But what we need to also get is like, how do you like begin to position yourself as a waiter? It's first understanding the process that's happening there. So there's a restaurant here, right? Restaurant, we'll call it Terry Black's Barbecue. If you've ever been there, absolutely amazing place in Austin, Texas. Highly recommend it. But you got your restaurant here. You got the prospect that comes into the restaurant, and then you have the waiter inside the restaurant that takes their order. Okay, this prospect, when they go into the restaurant, the waiter is not there to close them. Okay, the waiter knows the person's going to order every single time, because what this prospect has made up, or what they've already decided, is, hey, I have a pain. That pain is hunger. Therefore, I am going to go to this restaurant to get my problem solved. All right. And the waiter's not pitching anything. They are just closing technically the deal left and right just by asking them what do they want to order, right? They have a problem and they come to the business to immediately get that solved 100% of the time. So right now, many coaches look like this in the space. So we have our prospect. We have an ecosystem. This is your presence. And then we have a call, right? So your call is here and you do about a 30% close rate. Some people are less than that. You're not a waiter until you're hitting a 40% close rate, but the prospect comes into the ecosystem of your presence, and it still feels like you are having to be a closer, right? To get this deal. You're still pitching your service on the call. You don't feel like this person is entirely coming to immediately get their problem solved, right? They know that they're hungry. They know that they want that problem solved. So therefore, they are going to give you their order. And there's no pitching, there's no closing necessarily needed. Okay. The second step into solving this is understanding what is happening. So the first thing is, number one, we have people who have a 0 to 10% close rate. If this is you, you're just dog doo-doo. There's a lot of things that you need to begin to focus on, which is probably like what you're currently doing at the moment is just like short form content, and your sales skills probably suck, and you probably have a bad offer. So if this is you at the moment, these are the things that you need to focus on: getting better at short form content, having better sales skills, and then getting a better offer out there. Closers, on the other hand, the ones that are doing around 20 to 30%, these people have a good short form content basis. They have decent sales skills and they have a pretty decent offer. These are generally the things that they have in place that is causing them to be a closer, right? If we want this person in a way to be pre-sold by the time they like step into your restaurant, then we need other mechanisms in place in order to be an order taker, right? So that's the closer. And there's a lot to work on. Like your sales skills are doing well. You have a decent offer here, but we want it to feel much better. We don't want these calls to be draining because it still, as a closer, in a way, it almost feels like you have to do everything right in order to close that person. Like they have to be in a buying mood. You have to be saying the right things. You have to perfectly go through your sales call framework. And there's really no margin for error. So what we need to focus on is the actual mechanisms that make us a waiter. So if we want a 40% close rate or higher, there are a lot of key things to focus on. So I'm going to divide this into a couple different buckets here. Okay, so the first thing that we have is skills. All right, so the closer has decent skills. But what the waiter understand, in this case, you're the coach, they understand the psychology of the individual that they are talking to, right? Being a waiter in this case of the online space is actually generally having good sales skills. Okay. If you don't have good sales skills, a lot of people think that they just have a buyer problem. They generally just do not understand the person that they're selling to enough in order to actually bring them through a decent sales call process. And as the coach, your sales calls, they should actually go super, super easy because you fully understand the person that you're talking to. So you understand buyer psychology. That's number one. Number two, you have a strong frame on the call, right? When the person that's hungry is getting into the restaurant, the waiter already has a certain frame. The waiter actually has the confidence that they know the deal is going to happen. So they just ask for the order right away. And we need to have that same frame on the call. And really that framing in all of this, the outcome, there's a couple of things, is becoming a leader. There's a couple more things to add, but it's being a leader. Okay? But strong frame, where you hold it on the call, they're the ones that have to come to you in order to get the transformation that you are providing, is absolutely essential. The other thing here is just being really good at pre-handling. Do you know how to actually pre-handle a objection on a call, right? It's one, understanding buyer psychology, is having a strong frame, and then understanding the right questions to ask during your sales process that makes the objections come out before you ever even pitch. Because then if you pitch without pre-handling, then you're becoming a closer, right? We want to be an order taker. And in order to do that, we need to understand every objection that our client will ever have, everything that can happen on a sales call. We need to understand that, and we need to ask questions around that so that by the time we ask for the order, pay me $5,000, Sally. Sally's like, yeah, I'm ready to, go, right? So pre-handling is absolutely essential. If you do not know how to do this, fix it. And ultimately, like I said, knowing this stuff is essentially making you a leader on that sales call. You are positioned as a leader, just like the waiter is just positioned as an order taker. In this case, leader equals order taking. You are able to guide somebody to making a decision. Before the person goes into the restaurant, they already made a decision for themselves. There's still some decisions need to be made in the restaurant, like what food they're going to order. So you need to be the person to guide them into making a decision, just like they have made a decision already to go into the restaurant. And it's by holding strong frame, being a leader, that causes you to be an order taker. So that's skills. You need to have those skills. This also then begins to translate into your marketing. If you can't close deals and understand even why you're closing deals on a sales call, then your marketing is actually going to suffer for a couple of things that I'm going to talk about. So content is essentially taking how you handle everything on a call and moving that, positioning yourself in the right way through your content, right? You understand the psychology of your buyer. You hold a strong frame that causes you to be a leader, and you actually pre-handle those objections and content. And the pathway to doing that is, number one, understanding conversion content. Most coaches at the moment, they understand how to get eyeballs on them. They understand the attention game. But what they really don't understand is the conversion game. Okay, because conversion is all about I wouldn't use the word convincing, but letting the person convince themselves to keep on going down your funnel or ecosystem to work with you and get your transformation that you provide. So conversion content is completely different from attention content. And to wrap this up, like, conversion content is more about leading the person down the funnel. And there's other mechanisms for that. But if you do not know how to convert through content, then you are never going to fully convince this person who ends up in your restaurant to hop on a call and just get their order taken, right? You need to understand how to convert through content. And the real things that we are converting people on is, like I said, that transformation. So your mechanism of how you get that transformation, and then also on you. Are you the person to lead them to their transformation? So that's what conversion content is about. Attention content is a little different. Okay, so within that, we have belief breaker content. When this person that hops into the restaurant, they have no belief that needs to be broken of why they're hungry and that they need to solve that problem, right? It's just a reptilian-based thinking for these people, but obviously we're selling products online here. So the thinking is a little bit more of the frontal cortex here when it comes to buying things, but they're hungry, they want that problem solved. There's no belief that needs to be broken. But before somebody hops on a call with you, a lot of beliefs, for the most part, need to be changed and shifted on how they think about you, how they think about the product, and how the pathway to actually see success and what is needed, how they need to think in order to see success. Essentially, this person needs to operate or think like, that's a better word, they need to think in the terms of the person who already gets the results they're looking for, right? And belief shifting, belief breaking content gets the person to think like that. Because if we want somebody to hit $50,000 a month in their business, they need to already think and act like that individual. And to get them to think and act like that individual, it's a series of breaking their limiting beliefs and changing them to beliefs and a new operating system in their mind that aligns with the person who already knows how to make $50,000 a month, right? Somebody who knows how to make $50,000 a month, the only difference between them and you is that they know how to make better decisions for their business. They know how to operate better. They know how to think better. So belief shifting content, belief breaking content is absolutely essential. The next thing that you need to absolutely get good at is mini sales letters. Okay? So mini sales letters, if anybody knows what a sales letter is here. A sales letter is a persuasive writing that is designed to turn a reader into a buyer. Okay? Kind of self-explanatory, right? Sales letter. But really what's needed in order to turn that reader into buyer is trust, authority, and then they need to know the offer, right? What are they actually receiving? And you need to get good at creating that through content itself. Okay. So sales letter, mini sales letter is just a mini version of your entire big sales letter. And you're putting this into Instagram Reels. You're testing bits and pieces of your offer, putting them into Instagram Reels and structuring it properly like a sales letter. Okay. So mini sales letters are needed, and you're doing that through Instagram Reels. You are also beginning to gain presence in many different factors like lead magnets. And then you're developing your leadership through content. Okay, this goes into how you're positioned. These two here are absolutely essential in order for people to buy from you, right? Like Do they see you as the leader in your content to get the transformation that they want? Like, genuinely ask yourself that question. If you are not that leader through content, then you're not putting out the right content that positions yourself as one, right? In order to be an order taker, you need to be a leader, as we established already. Other things that are in this are story nurturing. So you're beginning to gain an omnipresence of story nurturing YouTube content that's allowing people to really see you more and putting out lead magnets where you're providing more value in the right form to the market. Okay. And this brings me into understanding with systems here, the sales cycle. Understanding your sales cycle is the most underrated thing in coaching and trying to convert people. If you understand your sales cycle, meaning by the time somebody becomes a lead, and in this case, a lead is actually somebody you collect their email, but let's just say they become a follower. From when they become a follower, when do they close into your deal that you're offering, right? This is written wrong, sorry. Most the prospects here take around 1 month in order to close, right? So through 1 month, they're closing. The problem is most people are focused on the time. Okay, it takes 1 month for somebody to close, right? To see enough content, to want to get my offer, to know me, like me, trust me, know my offer, all that type of stuff, right? 1 month. The problem is people are focused a little too much on this. The reason why we begin to implement systems in our sales, knowing our sales cycle, it's not about the time. It's about the amount of content they watch throughout this time. So by implementing systems into the business here, we can shorten this sales cycle a lot. And the reason why the sales cycle happens is because, once again, it takes time. You think it takes time for somebody to understand the offer, your mechanism, how you get transformations, seeing the proof. But what we really need to implement is systems that shorten that up, that get this person to binge the content much faster to where it only happens in a week where they can be sold. Okay. So understanding your sales cycle is absolutely important. If you don't have these systems I'm about to talk about in place, then know that if you're trying to get somebody on a call and they've just followed you, they're most likely not going to sell off of a 60-second video. Think about that for a second. Who do you know closes for thousands of dollars online from just one 60-second video, even multiple 60-second videos? Who do you know that does that? Nobody. So right now, we need to have a YouTube system so they spend more time with you, an IG content system that is absolutely flowing. You're posting as many times as you can. I recommend the very least 5 times a week. So you have an IG content system. You have the story nurturing system, just like a closer would. Story nurturing. And then we begin to layer on more advanced things, which is post booking systems, right? So by the time somebody books a call, right, there's time in between that call. What is happening between this time? Once again, if we know that people just need to watch more content, are we sending them more content? Are we giving them more testimony? Are we building up that trust between there? If you do not have this, people are not going to come to the call ready for their order to be taken. So post-booking systems are absolutely essential. You have sales assets that are a part of this process, right? If I want somebody to trust me even more, just like how they trust the restaurant to solve their problem of hunger, we need to be building trust, building authority through sales assets that we send during our post-booking systems that by the time they hop on the call, you're taking that order. The other thing we need here is, let's say we get a follower coming into your ecosystem on Instagram, okay? they can watch a ton of 60-second clips. That's not going to fully get them to be sold on you. They're not going to be sold through your content just by 60-second videos. So do we have a ManyChat conversion system? Meaning, are we sending more people down our ecosystem? When they come in, do they see things through your story nurturing where you're calling to action to your YouTube videos? And are those YouTube videos positioned in the right way as a sales asset? Okay. So ManyChat to conversion, where you're collecting the lead, bringing them over to YouTube, is absolutely essential. And really, it allows you to maximize all the content that you're doing. These systems maximize the things that you want to put in your content in order to be an order taker. Okay. So this is essentially how you become that waiter. If you're missing any of these and want to know how to build them out, how to place this into your business within 30 to 60 days and start becoming that order taker where you actually enjoy sales calls, life coaching becomes way more easier, then go ahead, book a call below. We'll just see if you're chill enough to join the community, get everything that we want. You do have to meet a certain criteria. Check it out. It's just a chill call. Once again, we are just order takers. So we just tell you what we got. If you want it or not, take the call. If you don't, just keep on watching my free content. Cool. Peace.